Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Sammy here. So I'm going to try and minimise this video down for you as much as I can. But if you remember at the start of my channel, I said that I would be doing a video on my pregnancy and all of that sort of malarkey. So I'm going to try and break it up into 3 separate videos. My actual pregnancy and how I found out and stuff like that. My labour, and then what's gone on from the day I had him right up until now when me and his dad are back together. And I will be filling you in on all the goss, like full goss. So I basically found out I was pregnant on, I have had to write it down so I can try and minimise it all down for you rather than just trying to think off the top of my head. So I found out I was pregnant on the 5th of June, and I will insert a little picture of my test here. I was literally so shocked. I was like, oh my God, how's my heart gonna cope? How do I tell people? And who's the dad? That famous question that people always judge you for. Yeah, mistakes happen. You know, me and the other party had both left a relationship. A one night stand happened and couldn't change that. It already happened. They was pretty certain it wasn't going to be theirs, and he wasn't. But I couldn't hand on heart say that he wasn't. So I'm just going to put that in from the very start because I know what people are like. And I do leave myself open for judgment really by telling you all, but I don't really care. I don't know, I feel like if the way things didn't happen, I wouldn't have what I have now. So you kind of just live and you learn through how you live. So basically, I just go straight in and tell you my whole story. So I tested, it came up positive pretty much straight away. I went back upstairs and woke Alex up, who lived there with me at the pub. He wasn't my boyfriend or anything, he just lived at the pub and worked there with me. Well, was one of my dearest friends. I used to tell him literally everything. He's like my big bear. So I went and woke him up and told him, and he was like, oh my God. He was like, right, so because he was our chef, so he come downstairs, he did me my favourite breakfast, and he was amazing. So that day I went and phoned Dave and told Dave about it, and we basically just agreed to talk when I got back from Bristol. There was nothing else we could do. So I moved back from Bristol about the 12th of June, I'd say. And me and Dave met up, we talked, we agreed to kind of try and work things out between us, see how things go. I ended up going for an emergency scan at about 6 weeks on the 18th of the 6th, obviously 2018. Again, I'll put a little picture of my little bean for you. Because the cramps just wasn't going away, and that's why I originally tested, was because of the cramps I was having, and I've been having them for the whole, since I found out, and it was just, yeah, they just weren't going away. Obviously we didn't know it was ectopic but no, he was firmly there, and doing really well. Kind of after that, each day that went on, things just got worse and worse with me and Dave. Got to the 12-week scan, and I was actually 11 plus 5. I wasn't actually dead on 12 weeks because not everyone always is. I was really worried, and even though he was there with me, it was the most loneliest experience of my life. He didn't really talk to me, didn't hold my hand. Yeah, I don't know, it was weird. And I also do get where he was I do get his side of it and his point of view, but I also see it from my side, as in that we were silly enough ourselves to put ourselves in this situation, just as I was silly enough to put myself in the same situation with somebody else. And that just as having compassion for just a person in general, and the fact that could you really live with yourself if you missed out on certain aspects, if he did turn out to be yours when every other person that was involved was 99% sure he was Dave's. So that was pretty much the last time I've seen Dave until Sydney was 6 weeks old. He come pick me up once, take me to triage, pregnancy sort of unit, like, because I was having reduced movements and I've been bleeding a little bit, and that was probably the worst day of my life. Like, it was so embarrassing for me because, like, I've been seeing him, like, go out in town. He come and parked his car outside my work, went out in town. So I know that he's been out seeing other girls, and I'm just getting this in the car. I'm fat and frumpy, I'm swollen everywhere. I feel like a fucking state. And worst of all, I don't know what's wrong with my baby. And I kind of feel like he doesn't actually really want to be here. He's only here because other people have told him to be, which is really hard to deal with, especially when you're so hormonal. And people will say, why didn't you message him? I was so psycho. Like, I messaged him all the time, literally all the time, begging him to just talk to me. Like, you haven't got to see me, you haven't got to have scan photos, you haven't got to just talk to me. Just have like a normal conversation with me, just so I know I'm not alone. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it was hard. So other than that, that was the last time seeing him, so I was about 6 weeks old. All the other times went in for reduced movements because it happened quite a lot. My friend Will took me. Will was literally amazing. Like, if I needed to go, he would literally just drop everything, like, and just take me. Like, no questions asked. He would sit there and hold my hand, and just basically wait with me, and like, to make sure everything was okay. If I was worried, because I said I'm such an anxious person, like, and it was late at night and I was worried, he would talk me around, like, yeah, you're fine, like, yeah, it's okay. He was amazing, like, and I've never really thanked him enough or properly for how well he was throughout my pregnancy. So if you do watch this, Will, and you should watch this, thank you so much. You was an absolute star, and I couldn't have done half of it without you. So I had an 8-week scan done, my 21st birthday. So I went actually on my 21st birthday and had an 18-week gender scan done, a private gender scan. I got a 3D scan done, and deep down I knew I was having a boy. Like, I knew. Got there, had the scan done. I got scratch cards for both my parents to scratch off, and guess what? I'm having a boy. So I ended up having to work that night in the nightclub, and before that I hadn't announced my pregnancy on Facebook, any social media at all. Hadn't posted photos, I hadn't really told many people, just my close, like my very close friends, and that was it. And it was fairly easy for me to get away with it because I mean, I'll show you a photo of me at about, I think I'm 21 weeks in this photo. I'll put it up here somewhere for you. So I could pretty much just put a hoodie on and I could get away with hiding it if I was going out. And when I wasn't out, I was at home. So didn't really, yeah, it was pretty easy. During like the actual pregnancy, I used to have like so many appointments. So I'd have like, because obviously people were like wondering like where my heart, like how it sort of that went. So I basically would see my cardiologist like once every month. I'd have heart scans done, like, again, once a month. I had like my normal like a 12-week scan, my normal 20-week scan. I had obviously my private scan, and then after 24 weeks, I had a scan done every 2 weeks, and they're called growth scans, just to make sure he's growing right, because the medication that I have to take is known to cause slightly smaller babies and like birth defects and things like that. So I was having them done every 2 weeks. He was always measured on the small side, but literally always. He's literally my little dinky dot. And I basically got to 33 plus 4, I think it was, and went for one of my routine heart scans. And my meds basically just stopped working. My heart's failing, and that was it. I was admitted, wasn't allowed out until I had a baby. Pretty much their words. I got in there and they was like, right, we're gonna, you're gonna have to have my 34 weeks. I'm literally terrified. Like, I've gone in for a routine heart scan, and like 3 hours later I'm finding out I have my baby in 3 days. Like, my mind was literally blown. Again, begging certain people to talk to me, and they still won't. It was really scary, like, and then did more in-depth scans of my heart, like just looked at everything again. I was like, we don't want to rush straight into this and be like, yes, you're having like 34 weeks and that's it. Like, we want to make sure we're doing the right thing. So they decided to up medication, put me on bed rest, scan me again in 3 days. I started making improvement. So that was basically their plan. Bed rest, up medication, scan me every 3-ish days and see where I was at. As soon as I started leveling off or going back down again, that's when we get to my induction sort of point. Obviously their worry was they didn't want to induce me too early, because the earlier you induce, the higher risk of having a C-section, and they didn't want me to have a C-section if they could help it, because obviously general anaesthetic and the change in volumes of blood and stuff is a more higher risk with my heart. So I was in Trillis Hospital from 33 plus 4 until 37 plus 5, I want to say. And I literally did it all on my own. The only people who visited me was my parents, my sister, and my brother and his girlfriend, obviously. One of my friends, Lauren, and I think George was there as well. I can't remember. If you're watching this, George, I'm pretty sure he was, but I can't remember 100%. Come visit me, and my beautiful friend Sadie, come and stuck me in some McDonald's because I was starving in that hospital, literally starving. But it's so hard just lying there, not knowing what's happening. Like, you're begging people just to talk to you, get no reply. Like, I do get it's hard for the other parties that was involved, obviously Dave and the other party, because why do they want to bond with a baby that might be theirs? I fully get that, but there's no harm in just saying, I hope you're okay. If you do need anything, just ask and I'll drop it in. Do you know what I mean? But I was literally so scared, like I was gonna die, like I was terrified. They had no idea really what to expect from my heart. I literally used to lie in bed, writing him letters, writing Sydney like little letters just in case anything happened when I went to have him. My anxiety got so bad, I would literally be having anxiety attacks throughout the night. They would come down doing ECGs because they thought it was my heart, and it wasn't. It was my anxiety. As you can imagine, I'm 22 now. So I'm at 21, lying there, wondering whether my little boy's gonna have a mummy and daddy, because I don't know how my heart's gonna cope. I was honestly so terrified. I didn't know when they was gonna make me have him, where they was gonna make me have him. I literally had no idea. So I did end up obviously going to Bristol, but that was again in the air for weeks. Like, I was in over Christmas, New Year. I don't rate the Christmas dinner or the New Year's Day dinner. Don't rate it. No. But basically, fast forward 5 weeks bed rest. Injections every night. Not doing any of the normal things that you do in your pregnancy. Maternity shoots. No, didn't have none of them. Baby shower. Nah, didn't get one of them. Finish off baby shopping. No, didn't do that. Basically anything normal, didn't get to do. And then I was kind of come in, one of the doctors come in one day, and I was just at breaking point by this point. I just wanted to go home. I was so ready to discharge myself. They said I could go home for Christmas Day, but put so much fear into me as to what would happen if I went home potentially, and if something was to happen to me, no one would be there. So I was too anxious to even leave and go home. Didn't even go for walks when I was there. A couple of times they pushed me around in a wheelchair, but it's so embarrassing. I was literally stay sat in this room Luckily I was on my own, like they put me into a side room. But sometimes I think, like, I just think that maybe I would be better off being on a ward, like having people to talk to rather than sitting there on my own. But then it's like the other side of it, that do I want to see everyone else going to labour, and I'm not knowing when I'm next going to actually, like when I'm going to, that's going to be me, like when I have no time frame in my head of what's going on. But yeah, so I got shipped off to St Michael's, I think it's St Michael's Hospital, it's in Bristol, to be induced again all on my own. So that's basically it for the pregnancy side of things from what I can think of. Obviously, if you have any questions, because I do feel like I probably have maybe like scooted through a whole 9 months very quickly, but I mean, kind of everyone what I'm doing like day to day. Do you know what I mean? I was literally just sitting at home eating. So if there's any questions, if there's any questions, please put in the comments below. And if you want to know what happened in my little birth vlog and what was going down there, or what happened afterwards, because you're all going to want to be knowing how did she find out, when did she find out, and how is she back with his dad. You're all going to be wanting to know that, and I know you are. So make sure you're subscribed, your notifications are on, and you will be updated when I post the next video. So until then, all my love, and remember that subscribe button, and don't forget the likes. Thank you.